Good morning, everybody. This is the media guy here, and it's 10:51 in the morning. Now, I assume that you guys are aware that Popeye the Sailor Man has entered the public domain recently, and he's starring in a horror movie. Pretty weird, right? But this is what got me thinking. If you guys saw my community post just now, I asked the question, which is, can a crossover between Scooby-Doo and Popeye can work since, well, Popeye the Sailor Man has entered the public domain? Well, I suppose it can work, but it might be tricky to pull off. Now, I know that I just said that Popeye the Sailor Man has entered the public domain, and that a crossover movie or comic book can work, but somehow I have a feeling that you guys might say it'll be a little bit hard to pull off, and it might never happen, which I guess that's true. But at the same time, I assume that a Popeye Scooby-Doo crossover could work, since there was a time back in the late 70s and early 80s where Hanna-Barbera produced two different Popeye the Sailor Man shows. One is the all-new Popeye Hour, and another one is called Popeye and Son. I just thought I'd bring that up in case you guys weren't aware. I think the title of if there was going to be like a Popeye Scooby-Doo crossover, I think it should be called Popeye and Scooby-Doo Sea Terrors. And this is my own voice cast. Frank Welker as Scooby-Doo and Fred Jones, Matthew Lillard as Shaggy Rogers, Kay Micucci as Velma Dinkley, Grey DeLisle Griffin as Daphne Blake and Olive Oil, and Tom Kenny as Popeye the Sailor Man. Or Scott Ennis as Popeye the Sailor Man. And I think here's the plot. When Mystery Inc. visits an old friend of theirs, Olive Oil, at a harbor, a terrifying sea witch appears and starts terrorizing the city and the harbor. So they will have to get help from Popeye the Sailor Man and help figure out who's behind it. I'm sorry if the plot doesn't seem that interesting, but I did my best to make it interesting. So yeah, I'm guessing a Popeye the Sailor Man Scooby-Doo crossover movie, or maybe a comic book, can work based on what I just described. And I know that we would have to wait a very long time for a crossover to happen, since Warner Brothers is still struggling a bit right now because of that awful CEO, David Zaslav. And I know I keep mentioning his name a few times, but still. But anyways, since Popeye the Sailor Man, I have stuttered and brain farted there. Since Popeye the Sailor Man has become part of the public domain, I'm sure a crossover between him and Scooby-Doo can work. And funny enough, this isn't the first time Tom Kenny voiced this isn't the first time we knew about Tom Kenny voicing Popeye, since there was a cancelled CGI movie almost 8 years ago with Tom Kenny as the role as Popeye. Just thought I'd bring that up. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below if you think a crossover between Popeye the Sailor Man and Scooby-Doo could work. 'Cause you never know, anything can be possible.